Alright, y'all, we are live on this beautiful Wednesday. Blessings to everybody in the name of Jesus, Yeshua, the Messiah. I do pray everybody is super blessed, even if you are not religious. And today, we're going to be talking about this Bitcoin move. Urgent is the title of the video. Things are about to get ultra intense. We got a shout out to everybody in the chat. First of all, a major shout out to our first commenter on the stream. Let's see if we can pull him up. Looks like Drumhop, but this isn't really the first. Shout out to Drumhop. Shout out to Benny Crypto. Shout out to KC. Dump the Bitcoin, baby. Let's go. Shout out to Aaron G holding it down with the wrench. Alright, shout out to Aaron G. Make sure to follow Aaron G, by the way, on Twitter, aka X. I don't like to call it that, though. Shout out to Crypto Pump It. You need some hopium. Shout out to Bernie. Jason, can you wish my mom a happy birthday for Saturday? She's 58. Shout out to Bernie's mom. Happy birthday. 58 years young. 58 is the new 25, they say. Shout out to Trader Boy. Let me see a blue candle, baby. Shout out to Hansu Gaming. Hoping JC would take some scalp trades. Want to order some fast food for dinner. Shout out to Don't Eat Fast Food, man. Shout out to Jagadish OP. Shout out to Rumble Rom. Shout out to Terry T's, Crypto Rancher. Splashfire Films holding it down with the wrench. Alright. Shout out to Quality Crypto and oh yeah, let's go butt cheek lovers. Shout out to Messy Jesse. Can someone spam me trading money? Ha, come on, man. Don't be spamming for trading money in the chat. Shout out to Revive Trade. Shout out to Rafael. Hello from Brazil. Shout out to David. He says, greetings, y'all. Alrighty. Shout out to J-Boy Bullish. Shout out to... Alrighty. And Crypto Cloud 9. Blessings and peace for Big J Casper and the Casper crew. Dump it for the daddy. Shout out to Nye and Strike 7 Kerr. Alright. Everybody in the chat, as usual, guys, if we can get 1,000 likes in the first half hour, we will be giving away 1,000 USDT. Shout out to Thor in the chat. Alright, guys, so as you can see, we are a little bit long right now. A little bit long on the Bitcoin. Actually, I'm in a few longs on the Bitcoin right now. Basically, guys, this is a bounce that we got from the local Golden Pocket 786 zone. Alright? And this morning, in the Casper Crew New York Open live stream, this is a level that we were looking at. So, if we're gonna get a move up, as we came to the level, this is a potential, I would say, opportunity right now. This is the this was the opportunity in the moment right before New York opened, and of course, we have gotten a move up from that area. Good risk to reward ratio trade. Low risk, high reward, low probability in my opinion, but nonetheless, we saw that opportunity, and so we have gotten a move. We've taken out the highs now from 61.8. We've come up to 62.347, actually rejecting right from the Mr. Faiz level. Shout out to Mr. Faiz and the Casper crew. This was the level he was looking at this morning for the target or a potential short, and so far we've hit his level to the dang dollar. And we're going to be talking about right now, well, are we going to be coming down lower? Is this a dead cat bounce, or are we going to come lower? Well, let's go ahead and take a look at the Bitcoin chart here. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Make sure to like the dang stream. Obviously, I'm still holding the short trade from 66K. There's no reason to close the trade at all. You know, I hit that TP1 the other day. And now we're keeping it open because I'll be honest with you guys, I am leaning a tad bit more bearish here, and I'll tell you why. Alright? We're going to start on our daily time frame. And the first thing that we really need to be aware of right now is we've had some changes. We've had some shifting in some of the key levels. Alright, we take a look at the volume range of the entirety right here, and you can see this point of control, if we go back in time just a little bit, used to be up here at $67,000, right? Now, as you know, I was looking for $67,000 because that was where most of the volume had traded. But if we fast forward this range a few days to our current present time, what do we see? Well, now 63,200, give or take, is our new point of control. Why is this so bad? Well, this is bad because the price now is underneath most of the volume, and we've broken down below this key support resistance flip that we've been looking at for the past 2 days, all the beginning of the week, saying we really want to see price holding 62.3, right? 62.3, that's a key support resistance flip, and so far we've had a daily close below that level, pretty harsh close below the level, and as you can see here, we are back testing this exact level right now. So again, we really need to come above this level if we want to see any higher, and then really 63,150, that's going to be major resistance now. All right, that's going to be major resistance now. As we take a look at the low that we made yesterday, I want to look at the 1 hour time frame here. Two things that look bearish to me. Bearish thing number one, we did not have a divergence at that low. In fact, we had a convergence. All right, money flow and momentum both getting lower here. All right, as the price is getting lower, money flow and momentum both getting lower. And then even after we made a higher low, money flow is still getting lower here. In addition to that, we are seeing this, right? Market Cipher B right now has a bit of a trend line that we're holding below. And so unless we're going to break out of this trend line on Market Cipher B, things are looking like there's more continuation to the downside, right? If we go to the daily time frame, this red dot, well, that typically means we're going to be bearish for the rest of the week. And as I said, you know, if we're not going to bounce at this green line, at this zone, if we're not going to bounce from here, then I expect the rest of the week to continue to be bearish. So we still have Thursday and Friday after today to basically, in my opinion, see a little bit more downside here. Something else we do need to be aware of is the $66,000 level. Although we ran around 67K, you could still make the case that we're rejected from this trend line here. You could still make the case that we are respecting still this kind of trumpet pattern, rejecting from that top trend line, which now potentially could have us get a move potentially, all right, down to the low 40s, where we're looking for a major bottom at the low 40s, right? So these are, I'm not saying that's going to happen, but, you know, based on yesterday's price action, things are definitely looking like what we're seeing right now is just a retracement before another low is going to be made here, right? How low are we going to go? That's yet to be seen. We're going to talk about some key areas of support and resistance, but I am leaning more bearish now after losing the key areas of support. Now, of course, I've still got, as you can see, some targets to the upside around that $63,000 level. The reason is because now the next major take profit, well, for me, is going to be at the high volume node, right? The high volume node of the range. This is where we really need to be paying attention right now, guys. The high volume node of the range, 63,150. This is the most important level on the chart right now. The most important level on the chart right now is 63,150. Because if we take a look here, from the high to the low, the most recent high to the most recent low, right? You could see it's a local Fibonacci Golden Pocket 786 zone. And in addition to that, guys, actually, this is quite interesting. If we go ahead and we take an anchored VWAP from this high that we made on Friday, it's also literally right in that zone as well, the anchored VWAP of this entire move to the downside so far. The VWAP is the volume weighted average price. So when we look at all the volume here, the volume level right now that we need to be aware of is going to be this right here. If the Bitcoin price is unable to reclaim this, chances are very high that we continue down here. And the only way we can hope to see higher prices again is to see the Bitcoin price reclaim and hold above this level, right? So if we're looking for higher prices to take out this high, the place we want to be looking for that is a break above here and then holding this as support. And then we can look for an entry around this area. But until that happens, so far the market structure, is it structure or structure? I don't know. But until then, the market structure is bearish here locally on the 4-hour time frame. We've officially made a lower low, and you know, it is what it is, man. It is what it is. And of course, we can't forget, as we came up to the high, to that naked daily point of control that we had there as our resistance. All right, we did see the upside down Sam Bankman-Fried bearish man boot pattern. So you can see right here, Sam Bankman-Fried with his upside down man boobs, money flow, and nipples getting lower over time. We take it, we stretch it onto the chart. There's nothing like stretching the man boobs on the chart, guys. It really helps. If you're looking for some ultimate pec development, you got to stretch the pec. You got to stretch it in that lengthened position at the bottom of the move if you're doing decline dumbbell presses or incline dumbbell presses for that matter. But we can see the money flow and the momentum waves getting lower here. And so yeah, that's pretty much where we were at. We did not see the bounce from here. Yesterday, you guys saw the long I took yesterday, and obviously that that trade did get stopped out. So where's that trade? Right here, yeah. So after we locked in a few juicy profits on that trade, and then this was the stop loss that got hit. And then this morning, when I took that other long, I locked in some more profits. So yeah, obviously that trade that I took yesterday obviously got stopped out, and we made a lower low. Then we came down here this morning in the Casper Crew New York Open live stream. We gave this setup right here, first thing in the morning. And so that's the current trade that is open right now. Shout out to the Casper Crew. If you want to join the Casper Crew VIP Discord, where we do multiple live streams every single day, myself and other instructors, you can go to jasoncaspertrading.com. Click the link to join the Casper Crew VIP Discord. And also, guys, we are having a special on the White Phoenix course, the most comprehensive trading course in the world. I'm not even just saying that. If you use the coupon code 1 year anniversary at jasoncaspertrading.com under courses, the White Phoenix Smart Money Approach to Trading, this is literally the most comprehensive course, period. Over 89 videos of content right here. Even if you're a total beginner, this is the way to go, in my opinion. Also, guys, BLOFIN right now is offering 10% cash back until October 20th. It's actually a pretty good deal if you are trading futures. 10% cash back on everything that you deposit into your futures account if you use the Jason Casper link, plus a discount on fees. And also, I got to give a major shout out to MEXC, because MEXC is the best deal on trading fees, period. 0% limit order fee, 0.01% make order fee if you hold 1,000 of their tokens. And if you don't hold 1,000 of their tokens, still 0.02% market order fee. It's a great, great, great deal. And as you can see, guys, obviously I'm still in this long trade because, well, we'll get into some areas of support that could give us a significant bounce. And make sure to like the stream, because if we get 1,000 likes within the next 8 minutes, we will be giving away $1,000. So we have about 5 minutes. Sorry, we have about 8 minutes until that time limit gets hit. So let's see. We know our important level to the upside right now is going to be that 63-ish zone. Now, how about levels to the downside? Well, if we go ahead and we take a fib from this low to the high, you can see that we are bouncing from a golden pocket in general, right? We're bouncing from a golden pocket. If we take it from this little swing low right here, you can see the next Fibonacci golden pocket that we have is lining up perfectly with the value area low of this macro range, and that's going to be around 59,760, right? So essentially, the two most important levels for us right now as day traders are going to be the value area low around 59. It's between 59.5 and 59.8, let's say. And then the most important area of resistance right now is going to be right around here, between, I say between 62.8 and 63.5, right? So we'll go ahead and we'll put those numbers on the chart here. 62.8.8 to 63.5. That's going to be key resistance. Key resistance. And then key support is going to be down here at the value area low of the range. That's going to be 59 to around, let's say 59 to 60K, give or take. Now, something else that's really important about this level is if we take a look at all the volume that has traded in the more local range here, that high volume node is also right around that area. So we could even move this box down just a smidge. So look at how important these levels are, guys. One thing I would say right now, we are back testing this key zone from yesterday, right? This was an area we were actually looking for a potential fake out, but now we're actually back testing this as resistance, and we're coming back inside the value area high of this more macro range here. So if we cannot, we don't even have to worry about 63,150 if we can't reclaim 62,350. If we can't reclaim 62,350, then I'd say the probabilities are that we make our way back down to the high volume node of this larger range right here, because that's the way volume works. We come up to the value area high of the range. We can't even reclaim that at all. We get an immediate wick to the downside, and so it just makes the most sense we come back down to the middle of the range, which is our next major confluence around that $59,000 to $60,000 zone right here. So the next two major areas that I would be looking for trades is a long from here or a short from here. And here's something else that we need to keep in mind. As we are seeing, the potential of some bearishness coming in, we need to approach our trades with a higher term time frame bias here and ask ourselves, well, if we are indeed seeing another macro lower high being put in here and expecting a lower low, that means now if we do, let's say, come down here and get a bounce, right? What does that mean? That means if we are looking then to get a bounce, we need to be thinking to ourselves, if we get a bounce and we come back up to, let's say, a Fibonacci golden pocket, we need to be biased for something like this to happen, right? Because now that the market structure has switched bearish, and now that we're below the macro POC of the range, I'm talking the macro range here, right? You know what I'm saying? Then even if we get a bounce from, let's say, 59K, that $63,000 zone where we have this macro POC, that could be the opportunity now to get into a short trade, having seen now a sign of weakness, right? We topped out here, we get a change, make a lower low. This is the place to look for a lower high to potentially take us down to potentially, I'm not saying it's gonna happen, to the low 40s, right? So that is something we need to keep in mind, where if I do get into a short trade from that zone, I'm going to be trying to hold a piece of that short trade down. All right, I'm not going to be closing that early. I'm going to be holding it. But at the same time, because you always got to trade both ends of the candlestick, we do have to acknowledge that we still technically have a low, a high, a higher low, a higher high. And so we could come down here, make a higher low, and, it becomes possible to shoot for that value area high once again, right? So it's okay to be trading two scenarios at the same time, right? It's okay to be trading a bullish and a bearish scenario at the same time, as long as you make sure to lock in a take profit one. That's what's the most important. You're taking a trade with a good risk to reward ratio. You're locking in a take profit one to make sure that no matter what happens, you're going to be making money on the trade, and then you can kind of let the market decide what it wants to do, right? So for example, right now, I've locked in a take profit one on that trade. I've also locked in a take profit one on this trade as well. And so, no matter what happens to me right now, I'm going to be making over $2,000, close to $3,000, no matter what, even if these trades get stopped out, right? And so that's all that really counts right now. If we dump, great, I made money. If we pump, great, I can keep making more money. And the same is true with the short trade that we're in from $66,000. I've hit my TP1. I've already made $2,600 on it. If we dump, great. If we pump and I get stopped out of that, great, I made $2,600, right? It's okay to trade multiple ideas at the same time. You can trade a bearish idea and a bullish idea simultaneously, and you can be profitable doing so if you know how to take a profit and then consider that the trade is already over, right? You're not here to make as much money as possible. You're here to make it slow and steady over time. And we are right now. Let's check out what's happening in this range for Bitcoin. All right, so here's the deal, guys. Here's the deal. Currently, we are back testing the value area high of this local range. So if we go down to our 12-minute time frame right now, you can see this volume profile right here. If we start to lose 61,450, then we are going to get a tumble to the downside. But as long as we can hold it, we could see us come up to our next major area, coming up to that $63,100-ish zone, where I do have my next take profit at 62.8, and we're going to take a look at the order flow right now and see what happened, because it was very interesting developments as we kind of watch the price action move around here. You can see that basically what happened was, well, we'll go to the 15-minute time frame actually. The 15-minute time frame, we made our low last night. We came down to the Fibonacci golden pocket. That's the trade setup that we gave it this morning in the Casper Crew VIP Discord as we were coming down to that golden pocket zone. And then, of course, you can see we start to get a move, we break out above the VWAP, and then all of a sudden we see about 15 million longs open up. 15 million longs opening up here as we retest the VWAP, giving us a quick spike to the upside. And as we get that spike to the upside, you can see that a whole bunch of shorts got liquidated, and we did have a few longs kind of opening up at the top there. Now, here's the thing. Most of the longs that opened up in this candle are still open. So as we come back down to the value area high of the range, right around this area, 61,450, that's where these longs are either going to have to decide to defend their position by adding more money or acknowledging defeat and closing out. So we want to be watching the open interest here, specifically the net longs. Are these guys who opened up in this candle, are they going to close out? Because if they close out, well, that means the money, the $15 million of money that was moving the price up is now out of the market, and that could cause us to come down a tad bit lower here. Something else that did we see any bearish CVD here? Let's take a look if we saw any bearish CVD. Any bearish CVD? Not really, but we did see massive amounts of liquidations up there. Something else I do want to point out is on good old market Cipher B, you know, we did see a pattern at that bottom, which is a pattern that you can look for to get into a trade, which is this. Whenever you see a bullish divergence at a bottom, like we saw right here, right? The price was making a lower low, and we had the uneven butt cheek pattern coming in right here. You could see the left cheek juicy, the right cheek skinny. Go ahead and put that onto the chart right over here. When you see something like this, then that next trigger wave oftentimes can give you a move to make a higher high, and that's pretty much what happened here. We came down to the golden pocket, the 786. We saw that trigger wave, and so far now that's given us a higher high. All right, so let's see how this is going to play out as we come back down to test that very, very important, that extremely important value area high of the range. I'm going to say 61,450. This is going to be our very key area of support right now. Hopefully we don't lose it, because if we do, I'll become very scared and very frightened, and well, yeah, very scared and frightened. So major shout out to Sniffer in Chief, major shout out to J-Boy Bullish, major shout out to Adam Thomas. I don't eat spam. That's good. I don't eat spam either. Shout out to Learn in German. He says El Punto Rojo. Shout out to Follow Baba. He says we're going to 47. Yeah, let's talk about that, because obviously we know 40 as we're coming down to test this level here. Did I have a stop? Let me just make, yeah, I got my stops. I just want to make sure I have my stops in place before I leave the chart alone here, guys. All right, so yeah, let's discuss the potential right now of coming down to lower prices. So let's check it out. All right, gonna go to the daily time frame, and we understand that we are making lower lows and lower highs. In fact, this entire range has been characterized by lower lows and lower highs, right? Every time, lower lows, lower highs. So this whole thing right here is lower lows and lower highs. Now, we have already hit into our key support, number one, at $49-ish thousand, right? That's where we bounced from right here. Now, the thing is, we don't really have any other supports until we come down to the low 40s. So specifically, the value area of this range here, we're talking like between, I'd say 40K and 43K right in this box, right? So this is obviously going to be a key area where it does also intersect with the trend line, right? We could see how, if let's just say we have some kind of black swan crazy event happening, we could see how this is very possible, right? But what about before that level, right? Because a lot of people are looking for the low 40s. Do we have any kind of support before that area? Well, there is. If we take a look here, I'm going to go to like, let's go to like the 12-hour time frame. Technically speaking, right, we do have some liquidity here that we could look for CDWs, right? Like this candle right here, 46,666. Price could come and just take that liquidity and get a bounce. We also have this guy right here, 47.7. So we do need to be aware that we could bounce before we come all the way down to this area. There are some levels we could bounce at, some technical levels we could get a bounce. But if we're not going to see a bounce from these areas, guys, all right? If we're not going to see something like this, where we come down, take some of that liquidity, and then get a nice reversal, then we really do need to be aware of the $40,000 to $43,000 confluence zone. And we could also even do something like this, right? we could do something like this, where we come down, we get a quick bounce, but then we end up getting a back test of previous support and then come down to the $43,000 zone. And I'm not saying this is going to happen, but I am saying we do need to be prepared for it, because that is the only level of support that we still have below us. And if we go ahead and we take a fib from the September low to the all-time high, you can see that the Fibonacci golden pocket lines up exactly with that major confluence. And if we go to Coinbase, we can see that the entire last 4 years of price action, right? The entire last 4 years of price action, the value area high lines up also perfectly with that level right there. So it's a very, very key zone, guys. A very, very key zone for Bitcoin. And not only that, you can see it's the trend line of the entire bull market. So literally since November 2022, after FTX went down, we were in that horrible time in December 2022 where Bitcoin is in like a 0.5% range for like a few weeks. The entire trend line here from 2022, 2023, now we're in 2024. You know, this is 3 years of price action, basically, or 2 years of price action, I should say. We lose that, not good. So we definitely want to hold that so that we can see finally Bitcoin make that higher high and come up to our target of potentially $100,000. That's the big goal everyone has. Are we going to hit it? Well, we can't know for certain, but this could be the next big swing trade opportunity right here, especially since if we go to the weekly time frame, you know, if we get a fast move down, let's say I'm just going to entertain a swan that's not white or orange or red or yellow or green, blue, indigo, violet, pink, purple, but black. All right, something crazy happens, whars break out. All right, you got you know, I don't know, other kinds of strange things going on. Let's just say we get a big black swan and it happens quick. If it happens really quick, we could see something like this, right? Bullish divergence on the weekly. That would be a nice bottom signal. And not only would it be a bullish div on the weekly, but it would be a double bull signal, because we would have a hidden bull div on the weekly, followed by a regular bull div on the weekly, which is a very strong bottom signal at extremely key support. A hidden bullish divergence is when price is respecting a trend line and is making higher lows on a trend line, but the oscillator makes a lower low. That's a hidden bullish divergence. A regular bullish divergence is when price is making a lower low and the oscillator is making a higher low. When you have them both together, well, that's a really strong reversal signal, especially if you're respecting a trend line. So this is a potential macro bullish kind of scenario. I should say macro long scenario. Obviously, it's bearish if we're going to come all the way back down to there. But before we get there, we do need to be aware of those few levels I showed you, you know, between 46 and 48, where we could get a little bit of a bounce. But in general, the key support is going to be down there towards the low 30s. All right, towards the low 30s. Towards the low 30s. Laddies. Towards the low 30s, laddies. Get on your pirate hats, laddies, because we're going down. Walk the plank, Bitcoin. All right. Let's see. All right. A swan of color. Shout out to Rich and HH for the super chat. Can you please go to the monthly chart and pull the fixed volume profile from January 2023 to the present? What do you think about the value area high? Well, Rich and HH, I'm not sure what exchange you're trading on, but I could take a look at ByBit and see what you are looking at here. So let's go ahead and remove everything, and then we will take a look from January 2023 to the present. All right, let's see. Ooh, I say we're right on the cusp, Rich and HH. You know, we're right on the cusp here of looking to hold that level. And you know, if we lose it, man, it's not looking the best. Honestly, it's not looking the best. I will say this on Coinbase. We don't have this on ByBit, but on Coinbase. Wait, we don't have it on Coinbase either. That's so interesting. What exchange did we have that on? I guess on the CME chart. I could have sworn, though. See, here's the thing. The January 2024 candle on most exchanges is a blue doji. I could have sworn it was a purple doji on Coinbase. Yeah, but we do need to be aware of that yearly open, whatever the case, for 2024. Right around those low 40s. And if it is a purple candle, like let's take a look, for example, at the CME futures. That's an order block right there. A monthly order block. There's just so much confluence at 42,000. But yeah, I'd say if we're going to lose that value area, then we could make another lower low. And I would be looking for those low 40s to really be the next area of support. Let's see. The next area of support. And of course, if we're going to lose that, then we got to look back down toward our massive zone of support, which is going to be the 30s. Now, look, I know everyone's very emotional. People say, oh, it'll never, it can't, this and that. All right, whatever. Here's the reality, guys. If we don't hold this chunk of support that we formed in January, all right, I want you to look at this chart and be honest with yourselves. If we don't hold the low 40s, what other support do we have before 30K? What support? There's no support. There's no support. I'll tell you what there is. Massive amounts of long liquidity underneath this. All right? Massive amounts of stop losses. This could lead to a massive long squeeze. Massive. And crypto markets can experience those massive squeezes because this is not a traditional market where, you know, if you're trading a traditional market, futures, you can technically end up in debt, right? You can technically end up in debt for your margin calls where you actually owe the broker money, right? And so you could hold a losing position and go into debt. But for crypto, because everything's leveraged with collateral, you get liquidated. That just pushes the price down much faster and quicker. That's why we see Bitcoin get insane moves and wicks and stuff like that. So, man, imagine people who are long from this area just getting the cascade of stops. You know, we come down here. We could so easily come back down. I'm not saying it's going to happen, guys. I'm really not. But I just do want to say, anybody, whether you know about charting or not, can look at this chart and just see for themselves, especially if we go to the monthly. Let's go to the monthly. All right. Anybody can look at this chart, and even if you don't know anything about charting, you'd be able to see, oh, look, bottom and then top, floor, ceiling. This is clearly a level of confluence for Bitcoin. And so, oh man, that's crazy. You know, I'm not trying to be bearish right now anyway. All right, I'm not trying to be bearish right now anyway. All right, a little bit bearish, okay? I'm a little bit bearish, but I'm just thinking about potentials here, guys. You gotta understand. I'm just thinking about potentials. All right, I'm not here to make everybody scared and bared. Scared and bared. All right. All right, I'm not here to make everyone scared and bared. Bared and scared and scared and bared. Shout out to Rich and HH for the super chat. And let's see who else we got in here. Shout out to Dano Crypto. What is going on, my man? We have a green dot on the weekly. Yeah, so here's the thing I do want to say about the green dot on the weekly. I'm hoping that we can get more upside. I'll be honest. I'm hoping we can get more upside. All right? Ain't gonna lie. But, But the last few green dots that we got on the weekly were not good signs for Bitcoin, right? The last few green dots we got on the weekly were not good signs for Bitcoin. So, for example, let's just look at the last two. All right, we had a green dot right here. We had a green dot right here. And we have a green dot now right here. All right. The first green dot we got a little push to the upside the following week, and then massive dump. The second green dot, confirmed. And then we immediately dumped. Third green dot, last week, bullish week. But now we potentially here, in 4 days, have a bearish engulfing candle on the weekly. All right? Not the best look, especially given the history of these green dots on the weekly. Now, I know every time we print a green dot on the weekly, I get excited for a new high. And that's true, because historically speaking, green dots give us massive pumps. This is a huge anomaly. A huge anomaly. All right? And right now, having rejected from 66K like this and potentially printing a bearish engulfing on the weekly, you know, I'm going to have to change my bullish bias there a little bit. The week's not over yet, but things are not looking that best for it, right? And so we could easily see now another red dot print on the weekly, you know? So I know we have the green dot on the weekly, but we didn't even hit 67K. We didn't even hit 67K. So the only hope for Bitcoin, honestly, guys, for more upside within the next very quick, we got to reclaim this POC. We got to close the weekly candle above 63,250. Right, that macro POC, 63,250. If we can close the weekly candle above, that would look really nice, actually. Imagine if this candle wicked down to like 59 or whatever, and then closed back above 63,250. Then I'd say we still got more upside, but when we look at the daily, we got the confirmed red dot. When we look at the 4 hour and we had the bearish div money flow momentum, you know, right now I'm not as confident in this green dot unless we see some kind of bullish close in the next 4 days. So we're gonna have to see how tomorrow goes, Friday, before we get overexcited. All right, the time to be excited about the green dot, in my opinion, is well, we can still hope. We can still hope, but obviously, last week I was extremely bullish the whole week, and it was a slow move to the upside all week. I mean, look, we've already given back more than what we had last week. That's crazy, right? That is crazy. So, you know, I'm just being objective with it. I'm just being objective. Yeah, shout out to my man Dominique. Crypto traders are extremely bipolar, manic flip-flops. One day glorious in heaven, the next day doom in the end of the world. You can see that back in price, how crazy emotional buying and selling. That's true. I mean, look, when you're a day trader, you know, things change very quickly. And so that's why it's so important, if you're going to do this, that we're not here to predict price. We're here to identify key levels and good risk to reward trade setups. And that's it, right? That's it. Because if you can learn how to identify good levels, good risk to reward setups, waiting for your confirmations, then it doesn't really matter what the price does, honestly. You're still going to be capitalizing on those moves, right? And in general, we're, look, I mean, this is YouTube, so we got to be sensational with the thumbnails. And when I get scared about price dumping, we don't really get scared if you're a trader, right? We're shorting, we're longing, we're doing whatever. It's more for the sensationalism of the price action, right? But yeah, manic bipolars for sure. Us traders. Shout out to Pamela's Honest Opinions. Yesterday was your best day ever. That's what's up. Shout out to Liberty and Trust. We hit 66.5. Isn't that kind of 67? Yeah. We hit into a naked daily point of control, so we did hit a resistance. But it would have been nicer to hit that $67,000. Shout out to Preparing for War. I had a great entry at 62.3, but closed too early. It happens, man. You know, it happens. All right, shout out to Rich and HH for another super chat. By the way, the value area high is in between the all-time high 236 around 59,790 and an all-time 0.786. Maybe this is major support. Hopefully. Yeah, it would be nice if this was major support. Would be really nice if this was major support. All right, Bitcoin's starting to get a little bit of a bounce here. Let's see what's happening on the OF. All right, OF. Let's see here. Came into the VWAP. Longs liquidated. So all these guys that longed here are now out. Remember, we were looking at these guys just a second ago, saying these guys were still open. They were still open, and we're saying they're going to have a decision to make at the VWAP to either admit defeat or defend their position. Looks like they admitted defeat here. Massive decrease of open interest. All those longs wrecked into the VWAP. We made a slightly lower low. Did we? No, we didn't even make a lower low. We made a higher low. And currently are holding VWAP right now with about 4 million longs opening up right here from the bounce from VWAP. So maybe we're going to see VWAP hold. All right, what a wick that was. We go to the 1 minute time frame here. Look at that. Right, got a nice little bounce to the upside of about, let's see here, 0.75%. Hey, that's nothing to scoff at, man. Nothing to scoff at. 0.75%. Let's see what happens here. All right, shout out to Giuliani, the pump song. I don't know. Shout out to Jake's Games. Naat says, hey JC, can you tell me more about Palu IDs? Where can I find out more about them? Yeah, man, all you got to do for the Palu ID is you got to go Google Palu ID and you will find it. All right, and then you just got to pay a little bit of money and you can get your Palu ID. You could trade on MEXC, you could trade on ByBit. Of course, if you don't want a KYC, you could trade on BLOFIN, which BLOFIN right now is offering 10% cash back on KYC, but I'm sorry, 10% cash back on all futures deposits. But if you can KYC, I'm a huge fan of MEXC because MEXC has the best deal on fees, man. I love trading on MEXC for those dang fees. Absolutely juicy. Come on, Bitcoin. Let's see. Let's go, Bitcoin. Let's go. All right, let's go. Let's go. Where can you see the net longs? Open interest indicator. It's not market Cipher, so there's two options for it. You could use order flow, which is exocharts.com, or there's a free one called coinalyze.net. So coinalyze.net is free. Let me show it to you. This is Coinalyze right over here. It's a free one, and this will allow you to view the order flow and the open interest. I'm sorry, the CVD and the open interest right here. So this is free. I highly recommend it. It's actually pretty dang juicy. It's pretty dang juicy, guys, in my opinion. Shout out to... Alright, yeah, we got Rich and HH in the chat. Alright, guys, make sure to hit the like. You know, we didn't get our time limit here. We didn't get our, you know, what am I talking about? We didn't get our dang 1,000 likes in half an hour. So maybe next time. We did do a giveaway yesterday. Alright, we did do a giveaway yesterday. So let's see if we have any questions in the chat. All right, let's see if anyone has a question about Bitcoin. Let me know. We could take a look at some other assets too, if you're feeling it. All right. Is it the POW wheel ID? Paulu. I think it's P-A-L-A-U. Yeah, P-A-L-A-U. All right. It's a country in Oceania. Oceania? Wasn't that like an ambient metal band from the mid-2000s? Palu is an... See, here we go. It's going to highlight my intellect. Palu is an archipelago of over 500 islands, part of Micronesia. All right? Micronesia region in the Western Pacific Ocean. Koror Island is home to the former capital, also named Koror, and is the island's commercial center. The larger Babagabadab has the present capital. Am I allowed to say Engerulmud, plus mountains and sandy beaches on its coast. Its north ancient basalt monoliths, known as Badrulukachu, lie in the grassy fields surrounded by palm trees. Source, Google. Capital, Engerulmud. And they use the dollar. In Oceania. That's the continent, guys. Oceania. Oceania. It's a continent. Alright? Did you learn about this in school? I didn't learn about this in school, guys. Alright? So look, the things you learn. The things you learn. Wow. Alright, let's see. Yeah, I'm a proud citizen of Palu. They call me the Micronesian. Nephilim monoliths. Yeah. in Oceania. Interesting, interesting. All right, can we look at gold? Yeah, let's take a look at gold. Let's take a look at gold. All right, gold. Wow, man. All I can say is wow about gold. All right. Holding 2,600. I mean, look, as long as we hold 2,600, there is nothing bearish about this. I mean, would you look at this, guys? I mean, we came down to test that 2,600, got a nice bounce from it as well. So look, once we broke out 2,600, that was a key resistance. We came down for the bounce. We got the bounce with a nice 4-hour trigger wave. Let's see. Now we're forming a bit of a range on gold. We're going to pull our fib. So we did get a bit of a rejection from the Fibonacci Golden Pocket 786 zone. We pulled the volume right around that POC. But look, if we can hold 2650, there's no reason why we can't continue to see gold pumping here. And gold is very bullish right now. When things get volatile in the world, money does tend to flow into gold because gold is gold, man. It doesn't matter. There's no country that owns gold. Gold is gold. All right, gold is gold. And of course, gold is a good preservation of purchasing power. You know, we can go back to good old, 1913 when the Federal Reserve was, well, actually, we can't go back that far, but we can go back to 1971 when Nixon took us off the gold standard officially. Federal Reserve, we were kind of still on the gold standard, but this right here is a graph of how much purchasing power the dollar has lost since 1971, right? So gold is a preservation of purchasing power. So it's a good thing to get into, man. But look, as long as we're holding 2,600, I'm bullish on gold. If we lose 2,600, we could see a bit of a pullback. And if we do see a bit of a pullback, I'll be honest, I'm still going to be bullish on gold. So let's go ahead and pull the fib from the low to the high. I would say this. We've got a really, really nice support resistance flip on gold right around, oh look, 2,600. All right, so look, yeah, 2,600. Yeah, there you go. I don't know what line I had on my chart before. It wasn't 2,600. 2,600 right now, guys. That's the juice level right there. 2,600. We got the golden pocket, the 786, the value area low of this entire area. We got the support resistance flip. 2,600. That's where it's at. That's where gold is at right now, baby. Shout out to stationary volcanoes under the earth creating islands. That's what's up. It's pronounced Palau. 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 Okay. Okay. Can we look at XRP? Yeah, we could look at XRP. How did I set up my treadmill and PC controls? I just have a standing desk, and I put a treadmill underneath the standing desk. And I got a little laptop. It's just a laptop. I stream on a laptop. All right, we'll look at XRP. We'll look at Solana. All right. Let's take a look at XRP first. Ooh, XRP. Taking a dump, baby. All right. Yeah, so look, XRP taking a massive dump. So let's be honest here. Our next support on XRP, if anyone cares about XRP, I guess someone does, right? Is going to be 555 on Binance. Take the liquidity. All right, take the liquidity. Then we could see a bounce from this support resistance flip right around here, right? But my feelings on XRP, my exact feelings on XRP is I would love to get a huge move to the downside. All right, we're going to go to the weekly. Everyone knows how I feel about XRP. I want to come down to 28 cents and buy there, because really you could look at this whole thing as like a rising channel, kind of like a rising bearish wedge. We have broken down, we've gotten the back test, and so we take all the liquidity and then we pump. Man, that would wreck everybody. And look, I'm gonna buy XRP. I've got limit orders set on spot at 28 cents. I'm gonna sell it at $2, and I'm gonna split the profits with the Casper crew. All right, so it's gonna be a juicy move right here. All right, that's what I am looking for on XRP. I want to see the blood in the streets, baby. I want to see the XRP army absolutely destroyed. And then once the XRP army is destroyed, we can come in and take over XRP land for ourselves, buy it all up, and then sell it at $2, right? So that's what I'm looking for. Nice. This is actually a really nice support resistance area in general, guys. I mean, actually, look at this, right? It's support, resistance, support, support, resistance, resistance, resistance. Now we break down the target of our wedge right down here at the bottom of the wedge, all right? I know this is a logarithmic, but that's just too good to be true, man. I mean, so if it happens, I'm going for it. All right, let's take out Solana. All right, well, Solana, just like the Bitcoin, has the green dot on the weekly here. I would say this, like, as long as we're holding POC, we could see more upside. It's the same with Bitcoin, but things are getting less. Ooh, Bitcoin holding support, baby. Bitcoin holding support. Look at this. Our white line's holding. We're about to get a 24-minute green dot money flow thickening, baby. We might see a little big push to the upside, coming up to $62,800 for our next take profit. Come on, baby. Come on, baby. Jason Casper needs a new pair of shoes. These shoes are running out of soul. They have no more soul because of the treadmill, guys. So yeah, Sol. Speaking of Sol, yeah, as long as we hold this POC, we could see more upside here. And other than that, man, not much has changed. So if we're gonna get another move to the downside on Sol, let's say we get one more push down and then we get a reversal. We do have local support underneath these lows right here, right? So we have liquidity. We have liquidity right here at 141, and we have a support resistance flip right here at 139. So there's a chance, guys, that if we come to take that, we could bounce right from the Fibonacci golden pocket, and that could be a bounce, right? This is the 8-hour time frame. We would really want to see the 4-hour time frame starting to give us a nice looking uneven butt cheek kind of pattern here as we consolidate, come down, get a nice wick, you know, close the wick above 141, right? Close the wick above 141. Ideally, reclaim this POC, and of course, that would then give us something like this, which we could shoot back to. Well, we could shoot to the top of the trend line, honestly. This is a potential play right here on Sol. Of course, you know, you gotta also think it could just turn into a head and shoulders. So here's the problem. This type of trade, in my opinion, if we're gonna wait for a reclaim of the POC, if we want to long here, it's responsible to wait for a reclaim of the POC. The POC is 143. The problem is, if we're gonna wait for a reclaim of the POC, that means we're not gonna get into the trade until after already a 3% move. And if it's a 3% move, and if we're going to just make a head and shoulders pattern, it's not worth it to take a trade with a TP1 at the 618, stop loss below this low, because that's not even a 2-to-1 risk reward. This trade's only worth it if you're shooting for your take profit up at the trend line for a 5-to-1 risk reward, right? So unless you're being very aggressive, like you're waiting to actually long the golden pocket, and then if you're just long in the golden pocket, not waiting for the POC, then this could be a TP1 up here at a 4-to-1 risk reward. You take out half the trade, you just risked 1 to make 2, and if we keep pumping, you still have half the trade open, and if we dump, well, you make 2, and you get stopped out of your entry, right? So you would want to play this in a way that fits with your trading style, and just be aware that if you're gonna wait for a reclaim of the POC, if you're risking 1 to make 1.7, that's totally not worth it. You want to risk 1 to make at least 2. And so I would wait for the top of the trend line. Potentially, you could risk 1 to make 5 here, right? So those are the two ways I would play this Sol. Oh no, Bitcoin dumping. Oh my goodness, Bitcoin. Bitcoin is dumping. And here's what Biden has to say about it.
Now let me be clear, I've been dead since 2019, and every time you've seen me on TV, it's either been a deep fake or a body double. But the science is settled. This is all Trump's fault.
Yeah, Bitcoin dumping again, baby. All right, huge dump incoming anyway. Can we look at Moo? Moo? All right, we'll look at Moo, baby. Let's look at Moo. Moo. USDT. Never heard of Moo before. All right, so, I mean, the only thing I can say about it is this, right? We did come down to bounce from our support resistance flip from listing, resistance, 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 breakout, retest, right? So we made the retest after this high. We came down for the retest. And now, very locally here, we got our retrace. You know, you could even say we had like an A, B, C correction. And now we've just made a higher high locally right here, right? Now, I'm not saying this is a good idea. I'm just saying this is a potential setup. I don't know anything about Moo. Just based on everything I'm seeing here, a potential setup would now be to come in for a higher low. And we're actually at that level right now. So if we're going to continue to the upside, this is the place it's probably going to happen, right? Now, personally, I'm not going to take this trade, right? But this is what we would look at. It's a pretty good risk to reward. You're risking 1 to potentially make 14, unless you want to be safer and put your stop under these lows, which you're still risking 1 to make 5 if we're going to get back to that high. So, yeah, let's discuss, let's talk about potential shorts on this would be, you know, if we fail to make the higher high and we just take out this liquidity that we have, these 3 highs, and get a reversal from the Fibonacci golden pocket. Once you see that rejection, that could give you a potential short trade, especially if we print some kind of bearish divergence on the daily time frame. But I don't know anything about Moo. All right, I don't know anything about Moo. All right, we'll look at Monero. Yeah, we could look at XMR. Does the 30-minute look like a flag on Moo? Is that what we're asking? That doesn't really look like a flag to me, but anything could be a flag. Are we talking about Bitcoin? 30-minute on Bitcoin? It could be a bear flag. Could be a bear flag. If it's a flag, it's probably a bear flag. We're going to look at XMR. Man, oh man, XMR. I hold a lot of XMR. I'm waiting for $1,000. How's it going, Jay? Not the best, let me tell you. Well, look, we're in a range here, and as long as we're trading in this range, we can look to get in or make our buys toward the bottom of the range, and if you want to sell at the top of the range. But really, anything really 120, below 120 is amazing buy in my opinion. Anything below 120 is amazing. Anything below right now 140, the value area low, just historically speaking, this is our range, right? So remember, Chainlink ranged forever before a big breakout. So yeah, we have a pretty clear range right here. Consolidation. Yeah, looks like pretty choppy and crappy, to be honest with you. But yeah, look, every time we come down to the blue line or below, if you want to buy a little XMR, eventually this thing is going to break out. That's my opinion. Not financial advice, but it's my opinion. All right. Bitcoin dumping. Oh my goodness. This is very scary stuff. All right. Shout out to Theoria Antonopoulos and Benjamin Vandimale. Shout out to Lord Black. Monero's a win for me. Ben says Bitcoin about to pump Q4. Moo is a Nigerian term for fool. Interesting. Interesting. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to head out. It's been a great stream. It is a very special day for me and my family, so I have things to do. May God bless everybody in the name of Jesus, Yeshua the Messiah. Even if you are not religious, I still pray you and your family are super blessed. I do not take myself seriously, but I do take my relationship with Jesus and my walk with God very seriously, because it gives me hope and purpose, eternal purpose in life, knowing that although mankind is sinful, fallen, separated from God, God himself desired relationship with us and cared about us so much that he condescended, he himself took on flesh and died to pay for the penalty of our sin. And he rose again on the third day. He rose from the dead, proving that indeed sin has been paid for. And now if we put our trust in him, we can be born again, so that we don't have to look forward to death at the end of a hard and short life, but we can look forward to an eternal purpose, which begins now, an eternal life, and a physical bodily resurrection. And that is the good news. That being said, guys, I'll see you next time. Peace.